Now, once we have inserted our sections which provide, if you like, the basic structure, we probably want to enter some ordinary text, paragraph text. So we can do that just by typing, and that's what I'm going to do. Albert Einstein, March 14th, 1879. Okay, so that's my first sentence. Now, I'll state something that's evident, but which is quite important with regard to LIX. In something like Word, if you want to format something by using spaces and tabs, you can do that. But in LIX, you can only ever have one space between each word. So for example, you can see that my cursor insertion point is in between Albert and Einstein. And if I hit the spacebar, no matter what I do, I cannot get that text to separate out, to split out. Likewise, if I hit the tab, nothing happens. And in fact, if you look at the bottom of the menu bar there, or the bottom of the application, you can see Command disabled appears. So there is no possibility in LIX of doing WYSIWYG formatting using spaces and tabs and so forth. It doesn't work like that. So basically, all that you can really do is enter text and then allow LIX to generate a formatted document. So that's an important point there. And also as well, we restate the point that we previously made, which is that the text that you see on screen is not how the text will appear. A final point that's worth making is that when you get to the end of a paragraph, you press return, and here the behaviour is like Word. That will then start a new paragraph. And naturally enough, as you type text, the text wraps around in the editing buffer and drops down automatically to the next line. Okay, so I'm just finishing off this paragraph. I'm adding in a couple of words and closing it off. And what I'm going to do now is generate the accompanying PDF for that document. So when we look at the PDF, we can see that it's a bit, it's quite old-fashioned in terms of the way that the text is presented. And we might decide that we want to change that. So for example, I can see that the font that's being used here is Times New Roman, a serifed font. Now the trend in terms of documents is towards sans serif documents, sans serif fonts. So for example, if I zoom in here, you can see that on the title Albert Einstein, that every letter has little serifs. They're the wee sticky out bits that you can see at the bottom, for example, of the letter A and the letter L, and at the top on the ascender of the B. So they look a wee bit old-fashioned, and we might decide that we don't like those. So the question then is, how do we actually change the appearance of the document, given that LIX is not a WYSIWYG text editor? And the answer is that we do that by going to the menu inside LIX called Document, and then we move down to the menu item Settings, and we click on that, and we are presented with the Document Settings dialog. So there's quite a bit of things that we can change here. We'll look first of all, I think, at the fonts, and we'll make a change. So the first thing that we might decide to do is to change the font family from the default, which is Times New Roman, perhaps to sans serif. We can also specify the base size of the document in terms of the baseline font size that's used, but we'll just leave that as default at the moment. So I click to apply that setting, and then go back to my LIX document and hit the PDF generation button again. And this time when we zoom in, you can see that when we look at the Albert Einstein, there are no serifs, and in fact the document looks a wee bit more modern as a result of that. The next thing that we might decide to do is to change the margins. So again, that's quite easy to obtain. If I look for page margins, you can see that I can override the default margins with ones of my own. So I'll specify there's different types of measurements, as you can see here. So I think what I want is inches. There it is. So we'll say that the top is 1 inch, the bottom is 1 inch as well. Actually, maybe 1.25 I think is a better choice for the top and the bottom. And then the inner and the outer we'll set to 1 inch, and the outer as well also to 1 inch. So if I click OK, go back and generate my PDF from that, you can see, although it's difficult to see without the comparison of the original document, that the formatting in terms of the page margin width is different. Okay, so I'll add in some more text and then we'll look at some other formatting that we can apply to this document.